Ladies and gentlemen, I am your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. And won't you be my neighbor? And we are here at the Gospel Truth Channel and committed to broadcast excellence at 11 a.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here we are again. We just left a live show. I just went in and checked on Rex a little bit. And then here we are. And says people, why don't you just not do shows when Rex is doing shows? I'd love to do that, but Rex does so many damn shows that I never do any damn shows. So, and Rex has 150,000 subscribers. He's not going to coordinate with me. Not at this point, although I would love to if he did. But anyway, here we are. We're going to talk about Gone God's Epilogue. And I want to look at a scripture that I think is great stuff. And I think it's great, powerful stuff. And I think it's great, enlightening stuff. And I think that you will find it to be so as well. So we're going to dive into this. And this is Gone God's Epilogue. And it's going to be probably a short one. It's probably going to be a short one. So I'm just warning you, we just spent almost an hour together. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at Gone God's Epilogue. And I sense some people are maybe a little bit, are we cross? Some of you seem a little cross, a little sad on this whole idea of Gone Gods. Because we've been so bashed for 2,000 years of our current incarnation, probably 10,000 years overall, maybe even 50, 60,000 years, that God is watching over us. His eye is on the sparrow. There's the birds again. And I know he watches me. And we just can't get out of this mindset that God is watching us. He sees us when we're sleeping. He knows when we're awake. He knows if we've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. He's making a list. He's checking it twice. He's going to find out who's naughty or nice. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. God. And we get so comforted in, oh, God's watching over me and the angels are watching over me. And I just feel like Mary's looking down, and Mary in her blue, looking down and smiling, and she's just right there. And all I have to do is just, count some beads and mumble some prayers that I've had memorized ever since I was 9, or I can just start speaking in tongues, or I can just go through some prayers and complain and blah, 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 some kind of a perv. Yeah, I think about that too. But Jeff, I don't want God to be gone. I don't want to be left alone. It reminds me of children that are, is parasites too strong a word? You know how some kids are. We've all known those kids that everything was given to them. And they didn't respect anything or value anything. And deep down inside, I think that's what humans want to be. They want to be the spoiled brat kid. The Elohim gave us everything. They gave us their very nature. They gave us their very mind. They gave us this earth. They gave us dominion, power. They gave us the mind of the Christ. If we get ourselves together, we can have the comforter activation. We can have the direct connection to the divine database. They gave us everything we need. And yet, don't leave me. We're so like the little kid on his first day of school that doesn't want to get on the bus because he hasn't cut the apron strings. Folks, we showed you yesterday, and it said that after the gods did all that, they ceased and desisted. That's what the Hebrew says. They ceased and they desisted. They stopped doing. And there's no record that they ever started doing again. Thank you, Hillary, with 1L. It's been a while. Jen Morris, it's been a while. Nice to see you as well. You know, I almost didn't do a show because I just got off, and I'm so glad I did, because it's nice just to see Hillary with 1L and Jen Morris as well. Oh, that rhymed. How about that? But we're like the little kid that doesn't want to get on the school bus. And now that kid could stay home. You know, when you got a little baby in your arms and he's cooing at you, coo, you know, he's got a little drool. Oh, it's so cute. You're feeding him with a spoon and you're changing his little diapers. It's so cute when they're like that. But if they're 25, now he's a freak. You know, barring some, you know, obviously injury or something of that nature. But some people don't want to get off the blue tit. That's a callback to the last show. Some people don't want to get off the teat. They want to just be able to nurse from the teat forever. And sometimes it makes me mad, but Paul stole stuff from the Christ and wove it into his writings, because any good liar steals some good truth and mixes it in with what he says. And it pains me to read this, but it helps me to know that Luke was translating it. And this is really the writings of Luke under the name of Paul. And I believe that either Luke, with his linguistic legerdemain as a double agent, slipped in these words of the Christ. That's what I believe. Or Paul just outright jacked him. Now listen to this and what we've been talking about. Gone gods. This is epilogue. We had chapter 1, we had chapter 2. This is the epilogue. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I'll know even as I am known. Throw 13 out. It's dung. Don't even read it. I said don't read it. Let's look at where are we at. We're going to look at verse number 11. 13, 11, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. 13, 11. Let's look at 13, 11. When I was a child, oh, when I was a little boy, and my mother said to me, something like that. When I was an infant, when I was a child, when I was unlearned. Are you getting it? When I was an infant, when I was a child, when I was unlearned. When I was a nepios, just a wee little nipper. When I was an infant, a child, when I was unlearned, when I was an infant, when I was a child. So it's either when you're a little baby or when you're simple-minded or immature spiritually. So when I was a little bitty baby, I thought. I spoke like a little bitty baby. I spoke, I talked, I proclaimed, I said things that babies say. I said things that people that aren't spiritually mature say. I thought. I directed my mind, I observed, I thought, I judged like people that are spiritually immature judged. And I reasoned. I reckoned, I decided, I concluded, I thought. As a child, an immature spiritual person. But when I became, look at this word. And let me just submit to you right now that there's a lot of people within the New Age, New Cage, people within the so-called truth movement, and yea, even people with channels on YouTube, believe it or not, and you ought to check out everything you hear on this channel to make sure it lines up with your blink intention, but there's people out there that are thinking like babies, reasoning like babies, making decision like babies, meaning spiritually immature people making spiritually immature thinking, acting, and deciding. And that's just the only way to put it. And that's because they're still indoctrinated. And the only way to get yourself to be acting like a mature person is to unindoctrinate yourself. And the only way to really unindoctrinate yourself is to be fearless, because you have to be able to throw everything out. That's why I'm able to be as effective as I am, because I don't have anything to defend. They ask me, Jeff, what are you? Christian, Gnostic, asshole, what are you? I defy definition. I won't tell you who I am, what I am, because I'm really not anything. I don't have any doctrines and tenets to defend. I am objective. I'm an objective spiritual investigator. So when I look at something, I can look at it objectively. I'm not trying to defend anything. I'm not trying to get away from anything. I'm not trying to get into anything. I'm just trying to discover the intention of the writers of the documents, or the intention of the deity that gave us those documents. Anything else, I submit to you, is spiritual immaturity. Anything other than that type of an attitude, I submit to you, is these people that speak, think, and reason like spiritually immature people. And that's 99.99% of the people. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too restrictive. 99.5% of the people. Let's be optimistic. So that's how we think when we're spiritually immature. We have things to defend. We have ideas we have to defend. We have positions we have to defend. We have churches we have to defend. We got grandmas we have to defend. But when we become a man, let's look at become. When I came into being as a man, when I came into being born, when it came about, when I transitioned into a, this says male, but it's Paul, duh. When I transitioned into a mature spiritual being, I did away with the things of a child. I brought to naught, I severed, I abolished, I annulled, I separated from what? The things. I separated from the things of the child, the infant, the unlearned. So as I became a mature spiritual being, I did away with the reasonings of an immature spiritual being. I did away with the thoughts of an immature spiritual being, and I did away with the speech of an immature spiritual being. And you'll find that as you become a fully developed spiritual being, you won't even like to listen to these reasonings, these thoughts, and these words of spiritually immature people. You won't want to listen to it, and you probably shouldn't listen to it. Just move on. Free book. Multi-site churches suffer a common ailment that could turn lethal. Download now. So when you become spiritually mature, you must sever yourself. You must cut off the things of the immature. That means that you don't react anymore, you act. You realize that no one makes you mad. No one makes you sad. No one makes you angry. No one makes you do anything. You act with your own volition, your own intention. So it doesn't matter what they say about you or what they do to you, you don't react, you act. It's your intention. So you put away the childish things. You find yourself not wanting to argue about flat earth anymore. You find yourself not wanting to argue about blue birds anymore. You find yourself not wanting to debate angel cards. You find yourself just saying, you know what? I am out of the sandbox and I'm moving on. I'm moving on. You get to the place where you're just like, look, I don't want to play in the sandbox anymore, and I'm not going to play in the sandbox anymore. Now, the rest of this is deep. Look at this. For right now, we see through a glass in obscurity. What does that mean? We see through a glass. We see through a mirror. We're looking into a mirror. Do you get it? We're looking into a mirror. That's important. You're looking into a mirror. You're looking at yourself. You see that, right? You're looking into a mirror. For right now, not today, not tomorrow, or not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today. Presently, right now at this moment, the here and now, exactly now, in the immediate present, right here at this very second, we're looking into a mirror. Through a glass, it's a mirror. You're not looking through a dirty window. Many people have said, oh, well, you're looking through a dirty window. No, you're not looking through a dirty window at all. You're looking into a dirty what? A dirty mirror. That right there is worth the price of admission. And if you feel like you're being helped by this, if you feel like it's improving your life and you're in a position where you can, I would ask that you meditatively consider sponsoring my work. That's how this thing showed up. That's how this camera showed up. That's how these lights showed up. I don't see anything. That's how this soundboard showed up. That's how this computer showed up. Because people sponsored, and I turn right around and make it into things that make the videos better. So I thought I'd just throw that in there for free. You're looking into a mirror. You're not looking through a window. You're looking through a mirror, and you're looking through it in obscurity. What does that mean? It means it's a riddle to you. It's an enigma. It's a riddle wrapped up in an enigma. You're looking at yourself, but you can't really figure out who you are. And that's today, right now, you're trying to figure out who you are. That's because, as we've already talked about this in Gone Gods 1, Gone Gods 2, we're now in Gone Gods Epilogue. We saw that we were created in the image of the Elohim with the authority and power of the Elohim, but we allowed ourselves to be trapped by the sub-Elohim, the rat bastard, he that shall not be named. And we have been trapped in this mud hut body. You really should get Serpents and Doves in the Garden of the Gods. I wrote it. It was on Coast to Coast AM. $1.99 for the ebook, 20-ish for the paperback. Oh, man, the Tampa Bay Lightning were on tonight, and I didn't realize it. I've been too busy doing stuff that matters. So we're trying to figure out who we are, and we can't figure out who we are because we can't remember who we are. We are really a species with amnesia. We forget that we're really Elohim, and even though we're Elohim, we're not Elohim, because right now you're trapped in a mud hut body. Like it or not, that's a fact. And even though you have the spark of divinity, it's not fully developed yet. So we are Elohim, but we're Elohim in training. We're not fully Elohim yet. And I'm sorry if that bursts your bubble. I'm sorry if that puts your knickers in a wad, but you're not fully manifested Elohim yet. And if you think you're fully manifested Elohim, do one thing for me. Be 3 feet behind the back of your head right now. I can do it. Can you? What? You can't? Then you're not an Elohim. If you can't exteriorize, if you can't get out of this mud hut body, you're not an Elohim. You're not full Elohim yet. You have the spark of divinity. You've got it right here within you. You're looking in the mirror, but you don't see clearly because you're not manifesting clearly, because you haven't learned to do it yet, because it's only been in the past 50 years that anyone ever thought about doing it. And it's only been since August 21st of this year that you've had the full Christ, the completed Christ, the female Christ that was subjected Sophia, who was in a time of correction in human DNA, who is now risen, and the second Christ, who is the Word who manifested back there in Jerusalem. Now we have the male Christ, female Christ together as never before. This is the time to put the pedal to the metal. This is the time to get yourself dialed in. You've got a unique 7-year period. And then I think, I hate to say it, but I think in 7 years, when that new full solar eclipse hits, and 7 years from 2017, so 2024, I think that's just about it. You are who you are. You are what you are. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but man, I would be doing everything I can do in this next 7 years to get myself right. So you're looking through you're looking in a mirror, but it's obscured. What did that mean again? It's riddle. It's enigma. You can't really quite figure it out because you're in this mud hut body. You got to be able to get out of it. You got to be able to get beyond it. And not just in your dream life, but you've got to be able to effectually, intentionally, anytime you want, develop the ability to be 3 feet behind your head. Jeff, what are you talking about? You won't really know till you know. Because right now it's obscure. But then, when is then? Right now in the present moment is then, but at that time, well, at what time? That time. That time. Well, when is that time? It's a time that's not this time. Well, Jeff, why are you being a jerk? Why are you talking in riddles? Well, first of all, because I don't want to just spoon feed you all the answers. I want you to work for them. Because they're that which we gain too lightly, we value. We don't place that which is gained too easily, we value too lightly. Right now, at this present moment, it's still a riddle to you, but then, when is then? Then is that other time. That's what it says, at that time, that other time. Whatever time it is that you decide to get it going. Right now, it's still a riddle. It's still not clear to you. At that time, when? Well, when you decide to work with me or somebody else can help you clean up your analytical mind and get you going. And I don't care what anybody tells you, you need to do it. Don't be afraid of it. There's no such thing as, oh, it's too much, you can't handle it. That does not exist. But then, however, meaning on the other hand, right now, you can't see it's a riddle, but then when you get it together, face to face, you will see. Eye to eye, with clarity. You will see face to face. Presently, here we are again, presently, when? Right now, at this moment, we know, what do we know? We have gnosis. We have, we know, we understand, we perceive. Partially. We know a part, we know a portion, we know a share. We both know, we know a little bit. We know some things. Some of us know a lot of things. Some of us know some things. Then, when is then? Again, don't get mad at me. At that time. Jeff, when? At that time. At a different time than now, whenever you decide that it's time for you to decide. Whenever you do what it's time for you to do. Whenever you go where it's time for you to go. Whenever you be what it's time for you to be. Whenever you decide that you're tired of being in this meat suit, want to be 3 feet behind your head, not trying to upset you, just telling you the truth. Do I become your enemy because I am telling you the truth? Are we cross? Because if I thought we weren't friends, I don't think that I could bear it. Little Doc Holliday for you. Now, there's people that every day say to me, I thought you were great. Now I hate you because you won't tell me everything I want to know. Had somebody today, you saw it earlier if you watched the show. I wrote you a big long thing, asked you to discuss something with me, and you answered only with one word. You're a jerk. You're an idiot. And you are a little bitty baby because you're still thinking like a child, acting like a child, reasoning like a child. I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm not going to do it for you because you're still presently in little bits. You just don't know because you don't want to know. And I'm not going to spoon feed you. And if I become your enemy, well, I just don't think I could bear it if we weren't friends. That's called sarcasm. You got to do it, and I'm not going to do it for you. And if that upsets you, that upsets you. Moreover, I will know fully when at that time I will come to know, discern, and recognize. Do you see it? Right now it's a puzzle. Right now it's a riddle, but I will get it in a second. I will get it when I decide to get it. And I will know fully as I have been fully known. I will know fully as I perceive, discern, recognize, found out. I will know fully as I am known. The Elohim know that you are an Elohim. Remember this, folks. Time is a construct that we are in that the Elohim stand outside of. To the Elohim, whether it was 10,000 years ago or 50,000 years ago, they gave us everything. They put us in this spot. And in their minds, it's just boom, because they're outside of time. We're Elohim. We're full-grown Elohim just like them because they don't have any time. But to us, we're in time, presently, right now in time. And to us, it's still a mystery, some of us more than others. But when we decide to get it together, we will know fully, just like we are fully known already by the Elohim. Bam. But it doesn't come easy. You don't put it in the microwave, press 2 minutes, sit back, and you've got gourmet lasagna. It doesn't work that way. You don't sit down, press a couple buttons on your remote, and boom, there it is. No, it really is work. It really is commitment. It really is time. It really is energy. And if you don't want to do it, you can stay in the childish realm. You can. And what do children do when someone else is maturing and they're immature? They speak like child. They talk about them. Oh, look at them. They think they're so, I used to talk about the crows on the line. Let's change it to the bluebirds on the line. Look at them. They think they're so smart. Oh, man, I got a show with Robert tonight. Bam, in 30 minutes. I think he calls himself Invictus. He comes on in 30 minutes at midnight. Bam, I didn't remember that. So anyway, forget about those birds. Become a person of maturity. And I'm going to cut this off right now, I think. I'm excited. I forgot all about that. That's why we have little pop-ups. And yeah, they do have temper tantrums like little bitty babbly boobly babies. You can't give a baby a driver's license. Jen, I remember my son was like, can I borrow the car? I'm like, dude, you can't even operate a vacuum cleaner and you want to borrow the car. When I was a little boy and the devil called my name. A lot of it going on today. So, thank you, Promethean Reclamation. I'm going to cut this off, and here we go. Ilana again, here to defend the Bluebirds. Now let's give her the time, and I'm going to leave in a minute. With all due respect, and what I've noticed is every time somebody says with all due respect, they proceed to act without any respect, but we'll see. With all due respect, Corey never said the blue avians were here to save us. They only share a message. Nothing wrong with the message. I'm sure that you have not seen any of it. Well, you're wrong. And the first words on the website are, the bluebirds have come to guide us. With all due respect, I don't need no damn bluebirds guiding me. I'm divine. I'm sovereign. I'm free. I don't care if David believes him. I don't care if Corey believes him. I don't care if Jill, Joe, Bill, Hillary, and Big Bird believe him. We just got finished watching a show, which you obviously didn't watch. We just got finished doing a show that shows you that this bird, stupid, blue-feathered Ideology has been implanted in the Bible from the beginning to get you to where you want to listen to a stupid blue bird. I'm not going to waste any more time with grown people that believe that they want to listen to a message that's coming to them from a blue bird. It's almost beyond belief. A blue freaking bird. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Folks, I do salute you for, bam, being here seeking truth. Robert has a very enlightening take, I believe, on the Las Vegas situation. It has to do with the entrance of dark spirituality into the whole thing there. He's a little bit of an eccentric individual. That's okay. So I would ask you, if you do come, to be respectful, non-judgmental, and I'm just going to let him tell us what he thinks. And I'm just going to listen and learn and evaluate and just say, So it's another take, and I'm convinced, we get too lost on the political and social aspects of these tragic events, and we don't get into the underlying spiritual nature of the event. I think that's, and I don't think he likes to be called Robert. I think he likes to be called, I think it's Invictus. I'll have to look and see. And that's going to be on in 26 minutes. Midnight Eastern time, 9 p.m. Pacific. And there we go. So I'm out of here. I appreciate you being here. Bonsai Walking Tree. Horrible event it was. Absolutely. Amanda's so lost. Runs up with a white flag. I don't know what to say, Amanda. You would come right back here, Michael, to watch this. I'm sorry. I do it every time. I know. I just can't stop doing it. Talk about other people. Just ignorance. Talk about ideas. We will get there, Jeff. Thank you, man. I finally know what to call the rat bastard. Birds of a feather flock together. They do. But there ain't no place for birds here. I agree. Wilcox and Good are a psyop. They thought this stuff up to make money. And they're making a lot more than I am. All righty then, guys. We will see you in 25 minutes. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly, humble, neighborhood Christian whistleblower, harmless little fuzzball. Be excellent to everyone. Unindoctrinate yourself. Stay fearless, and we'll see you hopefully in 25 minutes. It's going to be a really interesting show. Be there, be square, but don't be like a birdie in the air. Don't believe the blue. They're a bunch of poo. They're trying to deceive you and all that they do.